Welcome back to another brand new episode of Review Remedy by ScoreDoc. Let's talk about something people notice, but do not always talk about openly: hair loss. For some people, it starts as a few extra strands in the shower. For others, it is a widening part, a receding hairline, thinner edges, or a spot that suddenly shows up in photos. And it is not just men. It affects everyone: young professionals, parents, people under stress. Daniel, I want you to imagine staring at a list of 17 different medical clinics in Philadelphia while you're already feeling that stress. How do you even begin to figure out which one will give you honest answers rather than just a sales pitch?
17 clinics. That is a lot of noise to sift through when you are already feeling vulnerable. Because hair restoration isn't like picking a dentist for a cleaning. It's a deeply emotional investment. And ScoreDoc actually just ran an analysis on those exact 17 hair restoration and transplant clinics in and around Philadelphia for 2026.
Okay, so out of 17, how do they narrow it down? Because anyone can have a flashy website.
They look at the last 24 months of patient review data across Google, Yelp, and Facebook. And that 24-month window is critical, because research shows patients consider reviews older than 2 years to be outdated. They analyze the volume, the recency, the average score, and the actual sentiment in the comments. And out of 17, 3 providers consistently separated themselves from the pack.
A 24-month strict cutoff. I love that. Because clinic staff changes, technology changes. You need to know how they are treating patients today. So who hit the mark?
Let's start right in Center City at 1601 Market Street. Bosley Hair Restoration and Transplant. They pulled a 4.6 overall rating across 50 total reviews, but what stands out is that 18 of those are recent, with a 90% positive sentiment score.
Wait, 90% positive sentiment on 50 reviews? That is huge for a downtown location. If you are commuting into Suburban Station or working near City Hall, Bosley is incredibly accessible. Hair restoration usually requires multiple visits, consultations, the procedure, follow-ups. If getting to the clinic is a massive chore, you're going to dread the whole process.
Exactly. Convenience matters for compliance. Now, if you are a bit further west, over by Logan Square or the Art Street corridor, the data points to Cross Medical Group. They also maintain a 4.6 rating, with 33 total reviews. 17 of those are recent, and their positive sentiment actually nudges slightly higher to 90.9%.
Cross Medical Group. So that's a broader plastic surgery and aesthetic practice, right?
Yes, and the reviews specifically highlight their personalized treatment approaches and the professionalism of the staff.
That makes sense for someone who might be weighing hair restoration against other cosmetic goals, or who just wants a very holistic aesthetic consultation. But what if you don't want to deal with city parking at all? What if you're out in the suburbs?
Then you look at the main line, specifically the Lumen Center over in Bryn Mawr on Conestoga Road, and their data is, frankly, incredible. 64 total reviews. 17 recent ones, a perfect 5.0 rating, and a 100% positive sentiment score.
A 100% positive sentiment? On 64 reviews? That almost never happens in healthcare data.
It is exceptionally rare. The algorithm found virtually zero negative variation in how patients talk about their outcomes and the supportive nature of the staff there.
And that word, supportive, is everything. When you are sitting in that chair talking about your receding hairline or your thinning part, you need to feel safe. So if you are listening to this and you are ready to make a call to Bosley, Cross Medical, or the Lumen Center, don't just book blindly. When you call, ask them, what exactly happens at the first consultation? Do you offer non-surgical options like PRP or just transplants?
And ask about the timeline. Hair does not grow back overnight. You need a provider who sets realistic expectations from day one, rather than overpromising just to get you in the door.
Exactly. The data gives you the 3 best starting lines in Philadelphia. The rest is about finding the team that makes you feel heard. You can find the full breakdown and individual review reports for all 3 clinics on the ScoreDoc blog. We will catch you on the next one.